Welcome, everyone. This is Polly Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin,
Hi.
Sanswinda,
Hello.
Guarendis,
Hello, everyone.
Arendis,
Hey, everybody.
Calabathian,
I'm not the last one today.
and Krister.
Hello.
Hello, Krister. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And today it is time for us to discuss the latest producer's letter from executive producer Rob Ciccolini.
Okay, so can I just say that last time when we mentioned the producer's letter, I scoffed and about it coming out on time. And though the idea of on time, quote unquote, is probably variable, I was pleasantly surprised that apparently it's come out on time. So I would just like to apologize for that. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly
surprised. Yes and no, because if you notice, it says February 2021 and it came out in March. So,
okay, then I'm completely good with saying it didn't come out on time and I was right. I rescind my apology.
Like, that was the first thing I noticed was that it said February 2021. I'm like, wait a minute. No, it's not. It hasn't been for 2 weeks. Almost 2 weeks.
Well, I think we can agree it came out in time, which is in the period of time in the universe that time exists.
Time is a construct. Burn it all down. Wait,
remember, everyone, you were supposed, by the time you hear this, you were supposed to have burned all of your clocks on Sunday because of, fall back for spring if you're here in the States.
Fall back for spring.
No, you have to spring forward, Calabathian.
If you're burning it down, it don't matter which way you go.
True.
Yeah, this is the bad one, right?
Yes. So
yeah,
in that case, let's burn it down and go backwards. Oh, wait.
Greetings! I am writing today to get you up to speed on our current plans for the rest of the year and to tease a few things we hope you will look forward to. The Lord of the Rings Online celebrates its 14th anniversary this year, and that is thanks to all of you logging in and playing. Oh yes, people getting 14 years. Whee! Our first big update in 2021 will happen in March with the release of the Wildwood of Breeland to the game. Wildwood will see the release of the long-teased wilderness between Breeland and Avondale. The Wildwood is being eyed by two factions aiming to use the land for their own purposes, but their and your enemies have other plans in mind. This will be the first time we can think of where we are releasing below end cap region content in addition to level cap content. So even players who are not at level cap can enjoy this new experience. And by that, they mean that this new zone is going to be level 45.
But when will it happen in March? We're already halfway through.
It will happen next week. Actually, it's scheduled for next week. Yes.
Okay.
And it will have to happen next week because that update also includes all the Spring Festival stuff, and the Spring Festival starts next week.
Good.
And if some disaster happens to change that, well, either they'll have to postpone the Spring Festival.
Hush! Finally, just don't even go there.
Okay.
How dare you?
Sorry about that. Let's then go into the Spring Festival, where we are looking forward to the Spring Festival in March. This year, we'll be adding a new festivity to the event featuring a guest appearance by Grimbeorn himself.
Yay.
Yeah. I'm just as excited for that as I was to have him show up at a certain wedding.
I don't know. If he brings the dogs again, that might liven things up.
You know what? That event was not made better by those dogs.
Well, any case, based on the title of the instance, I think it involves bees. Probably big bees.
Like
I
those
like
carpenter
bees.
bees that we have, or wasps and wasps that we have as pets, that size.
Maybe not quite that size, but they're not going. I have a feeling they're not going to be your tiny little bees that you see in the Shire. There will
They're the
also,
same size as the ones at his house.
yes, most likely. There will also be the new 6-player boss from the vaults, Narahel of the Red Maid. Expect to see some great seasonally themed cosmetics and other rewards.
I am really curious to see Narahel, because they scale those, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
that's really interesting. That's a really interesting choice for a scaled boss battle from an instance that doesn't scale. Much like the Rift.
yes. And concerning scaling, just note that the 6-player boss one is obviously 6 players, but the bees instance that will be for 1, 2, 3, or 6 will be the sizes for the Grimbjorn one. A short time after the Wildwood update, we are planning to release the first of our further adventures quest arcs that make use of the mission system to explore new stories involving major and minor characters in Middle-earth. The first of these involves one of the most famous of all the hobbits, Bilbo Baggins. If you enjoy it,
Cannot wait to go on a mission with Bilbo. I just can't.
The further adventures of Bilbo Baggins.
yes. If you enjoy it, we're open to doing more further adventures. They didn't want to say further adventures. And later on this year.
That would have to happen too far away.
Okay.
Really far adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Suggestions for characters you'd like to see in the narrative missions set are welcome. And also, this summer brings Update 30, The Blood of Azog, to the Lord of the Rings Online. Or the Three Peaks presses on, Durin Stonehelmson prepares to lead the Gabilacha beyond the frozen gates of Mount Gundabad. At the
Good luck with
urging...
that. I said, good luck with that.
yes. At the urging of glowing, Prince Durin sends word to the Lonely Mountain to muster even more dwarves to Elderslade before reclaiming begins. As you aid in this effort, you'll discover the tale of Hermoth Stormhammer, a hero of the Battle of Azanulbizar. You will experience important moments in the history of Durin's folk firsthand, such as the taking of the Oaken Shield, the death of Azog, and even an ever-present danger of Durin's Bane, and more. Update 30 will
Balrog?
Update 30 will feature a new interlude, new quests, new missions, and a new raid in a quest pack that is free to VIPs. That's to stem any questions. Is this going to be another one of those mini expansions? No, it's not going to be a mini expansion. It's going to be a regular quest pack. And the fall, we'll see Durin's plans unfold as we release our next full expansion in Update 31, Gundabad. Expect to hear a lot more in the coming months, but we're keeping most of it under wraps for now. Gundabad concludes our story of the legacy of Durin and the trials of the dwarves as well. We have a lot of loose ends to wrap up there.
Yeah, because I mean, this is only like steps, 3 out of the 12 steps to get to war?
Well, we will see. Well, some of them are going to be really easy steps then.
Well, the first step, of course, is admitting you have a problem. But these are dwarves. It's never going to happen.
No. He has a problem. His problem is the other dwarves. He knows exactly what his problem is. His way of solving it and everybody else's way of solving it are not probably going to be the same thing.
No, not at all.
I can't wait to be caught in the middle of this mess.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we are going to be right smack in the middle of whatever lands into
Well,
the
of course we are, because A, we're not dwarves, and B, we're expendable.
Yes.
And C, everybody needs our help. If you need somebody's help, you immediately call for your character. It doesn't matter if it's like, hey, can you clean out that porta potty? Call my character. There are billions of NPCs, but we need your character
No,
to
come on.
do this.
That is not a quest that they gave us in Lake Town.
It was
Probably.
almost one.
No, it was in Rohan. I was a celebrated hero, and I write into Rohan. A celebrated hero. I defeated Saruman. And the first thing they do is hand me a mop and tell me to go clean the stalls out. And it's like,
come on.
I'm a hero.
You
What are you
weren't
talking
cleaning them
about?
out. You were knocking on the doors to see if there were bandits hiding inside of there.
That's what they
Technically,
told
that's
you.
cleaning it out. Technically, if you get bandits out of the latrines, it's cleaning it out, okay?
It's cleaning
That's
it out in
code
a
words.
different way. We get rid of the citizens who are trying to dodge the evacuation. We're getting rid of orcs, and we're getting rid of chickens that were hiding in the stalls.
Yeah, we liberated some chickens.
Yes.
That one always cracked me up.
The chicken liberation team.
Yes. This will also be a big year for our legendary worlds of Honor and Ithil. We're planning to bring the Waste to the legendary servers in April before debuting Mordor itself in August. Depending on what ends up happening, we could bring the Grey Mountains to the legendary servers late in the year, because I guess I would expect it to be in December. But we're talking about Mordor here, and you're wondering, are there going to be people who are saying we need more time? I'm sure they'll monitor that before they decide whether to open it up in December or January. And on the PvP side, I am happy to let you know that we currently have a designer who has regular time set aside for ongoing development work, and we want to address many of your concerns about PvP balance and more. Was that a
I'm assuming somebody approves.
snore, or was that a
That was a
Rivers.
growl.
a
That was a growl,
growl?
I think.
Okay. A growl.
Balance is fine.
Just because the creeps are no longer steamrolled by like one creep in like, you know, in their like tier 1 gear or something, you know, they're pitching a fit.
We will hope that's not what they mean by balance there.
It's the only thing that they mean by balance.
And for legendary items, our focus this year will be to speed up LI leveling for players not at endgame, and to make our newer regions more appealing for people working on their items. I would hope they do a better job of that than they did in Update 28.
Of course, then I'm reading that as okay, but those of you at in game, sorry.
Yeah.
That is precisely how I read it too. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Well, we will see. And thank you for your support of Middle-earth and our version of it. Being stewards of LOTRO is something we take very seriously, and we remain honored to be here for you, Sev.
Okay, so wait. They're going to speed us along to endgame, and then we're stalled at endgame.
Well, we don't know though, like, they might mean like endgame is fully maxed allies, in which case you don't need to work for your allies anymore. That would be a good reading of that. I like that idea. But they might also just mean level 130, and that could be problematic. So we'll see.
Yeah, especially since before, you know, another what? You know, the year is up, we're going to be at least 135 for level cap.
Maybe. We haven't actually gotten a level increase confirmed yet for Gundabad.
Okay.
We know it's not happening before Gundabad, but we don't actually know that it's coming with Gundabad.
But it's coming.
Probably.
Probably someday.
I mean, probably eventually. So I think the reason why we're talking about this in particular is we happen to notice that the maximum level for the things you can barter for the Ill Omen skirmish, the pocket whatevers, I don't even remember what they're called because I looked at them and decided they weren't even worth bothering with. But at the maximum level for them is level 135, and current level cap is 130. So my thought was Ill Omens is only like once a year, so possibly before Ill Omens comes out again next year, we'll have a leveling cap increase, and they want to make sure that the things are still relevant, until people can earn more of them. But it could just be a just in case measure on their part too.
I should note that originally, when they were first putting out the Ill Omens event, they were originally 140 was the max on them, and that the player base screamed to them to lower it. And because they said, no, you can't do that because they don't want any items at the new cap level. That could be used at the new cap level.
Which is ridiculous.
Yes, but that is, I know that's ridiculous, but they're saying because they don't want people to have, because they thought it would be OP if they were able to carry over and still be useful at the next level cap. And they did confirm that whatever the next level cap is, it will not be 135.
What does that mean?
That just means that
our next level cap increase will be to 140, basically.
Will be probably 140. They haven't confirmed that, but it may sound like that it won't be 135, whatever it is.
Well, if it's not, they do them by 5. So if it's not going to be
Yes.
135, then the next increase is going to be 140. But they still haven't confirmed that we're actually even getting one.
Right. Yes, there is that. We will have to find that out at the future. But that's it for the producer's letter. Any other comments about the producer's letter? Hearing none, then we will produce to the LOTRO Beacon issue 196, where we have a hobgoblin on the front page.
Yeah, that's the Veil Watch.
Yes.
Body's got to be somewhere.
I'm pretty sure, based on the archway behind Guardian Captain something. Guardian or Captain. Definitely not Minstrel. I mean, even though minis can use a shield, a mini would not actually be standing in front of the hobgoblin with the shield. The mini would be screaming at the hobgoblin with the shield up.
You're right. And most likely with a musical instrument in the other hand.
Or on the back.
Or on the back. Well, there is that. For our community spotlights, Instagram spotlight, LOTRO players are posting great screenshots and more, including Val Carril, LOTRO Shot the Fashion Adventurer, and Creeps. And Bloodborne has you covered ahead for next week's release of Update 29. You can watch a video on his YouTube channel. And announcing the Roving Threat Grand Tour of Middle-earth. Learn more about this Crick Hollow event on the LOTRO forums. And the Minstrel Guild of Bree and Friends presents a round-robin concert on Brandywine. Oh, well, it was today. And the Bounders of Shire are conducting a Pie Day bake sale on Sunday on Lunchable. So if you're hearing this live, you will be able to participate on that event. You can learn more about that on LOTROartists.com. And Lindemar presents Corair, Days of the Stirring, next week on Laurelin. Read about that event featuring songs and poems on LOTROartists.com. There's a lot of these things in common are that you can find them at LOTROartists.com. And Huge Sound Records is looking for your LOTRO character screenshots. So read more about it at their website. And now comes our weekly comment. Did Boromir travel in comfortable shoes? And if so, what made them so?
Memory foam insoles.
I always pictured him as a clog wearer myself.
As a clog wearer?
Yeah, kind of casual clogs, travel clogs.
No.
I'm sorry.
Come on,
When you
Boromir's
say
a military dude.
when you say clogs, the first picture that comes to my mind are these wooden shoes worn for clog dancing.
Exactly.
And I'm just trying to imagine him clogging his way to Rivendell.
Somebody gets close to you, you don't like, you just fling one of the clogs off in their direction, scare them off. I think you paint your clogs, with like menacing faces and fangs, so they look scary, Maybe you have bunny clogs too. You have to have a balance, I think. Yeah, you always have to balance your clogs. That's what my grandmother told me.
The road to Rivendell, the long lost Gondor folk dance.
Anyway,
I think Boromir did have shoes that were comfortable to him, because they were custom made for him and he wore them constantly.
well, you do have a point there, because if you are the heir to the steward, you'd probably be able to get a good cobbler to make the shoes for you. Or in this case, probably boots.
Yeah. But would he be a walker or a rider?
No, walk.
Okay.
He had to have walked, because there would have been some
Nobody had horses
mention of
until
him
they
having
got
a
to
horse.
Rohan, except for Bill the Pony.
No, he had a horse. He just had to leave it behind.
Oh, they did say that?
I'm pretty sure he had a horse.
I always thought the books implied that the hobbits actually carried Boromir through the majority of the first part of the adventure.
No, before he got to Rivendell to meet the hobbits to carry him. I'm pretty sure when he started out from Gondor, he had a horse.
Remind me not to drink water around you guys. I almost baptized my monitor.
Come on, you should already know that by now.
You'd think, right?
So if the hobbits carried, or did he have like a little sledge and like up in the north, and it was like, mush on Merry, on Pippin, and they just kind of ran in their little harnesses pulling them along.
Oh, I think it'd be the cutest thing to have like 300 hobbits like carrying, like in the remember in the 300 how Xerxes was carried, in that big ram stage thing. Oh, that'd be so hilarious. Oh, and all the little pipeweed coming out from underneath. It's almost like it's a little train.
How in the world do I encapsulate all of this in a potential title? Like, I'm going to need your help. Too much for my brain today.
Honestly, I think that given it was such a long way that they would have had to have had horses to get to Rivendell, I just don't know why they chose not to have horses leaving Rivendell.
Well,
they
because
weren't
Except for Bill the Pony.
They had Bill the Pony. It was a dangerous route. Legolas didn't ride a horse. Legolas
They were
very
trained to be sneaky, and horses aren't sneaky.
and that.
Okay.
And
That makes
besides,
sense.
they wanted to contrast themselves as the 9 walkers to contrast the 9 riders.
I think if they had any kind of input, they would have been like, let's just be the 9 riders that are good versus the 9 riders that are not.
There's your title, Arindus, the 9 Walkers.
Well,
The Walking 9.
the Walking 9, yes. That is a plot point that when they're preparing to leave. So, yes, I would say then most likely I will agree with Sansa. He probably just had a very good cobbler to help him have good boots. Any suggestions from the chat? Nope.
We are always on about fashion in Lord of the Rings, either in the game or something. What kind of shoes is he wearing, and do you think they're comfortable? I think that he wore Prada. Oh no, wait, that would be Sauron or Melkor, perhaps.
Yeah. In our fan site news, last week we reviewed Update 28. And on LOTRO Stream is your first stop to find LOTRO on Twitch this week. Wayward Plane has a Flight of Fancy. Malvio visits Radagast, and a French Girl Gaming visits Angmar. And on Twitch, Jace Dwarf heads into Isengard. Hado Vbeep conducts a German language stream, and K1XE gives the game first stream honors. And over on YouTube, Louis7 goes over the producer's letter. Happy Dwarf heads into Thorin's Gate, and
It's that name again.
Gin has his first joke of the week.
It's that name again.
I'll have to go with Gin for now. So.
Yes. But why wouldn't a happy dwarf be happy if he's going into Thorin's Gate? I mean...
And Mage Centron celebrates a month of streaming in LOTRO. Head over to their Twitch page to see it. And
I thought that name said Mage Scantron. I was like, what? I need to
The
get
best of both
closer.
worlds.
Yeah. We're taking a test on Scantron today about magic. That was how Gandalf and the others got their positions.
And Laurel and Arian has been posting their new webcomic on the Epic story on Twitter. You can check them out on the Minstrel by Night feed. Then let's into our screenshot of the week, where the Sons of Anarchy kinship on Evernight recently organized a spontaneous chicken run from Sanson Farm and reached this point above Rivendell before one fell to a heroic death.
Chicken down.
Thanks for sending it to Glarendir. Post your submissions on LOTRO@SandstoneGames.com.
This was the funniest thing because I actually read the Beacon before Saturday. I actually read it yesterday when it came out because a lot of times I forget and don't read it until it's in show notes. And I popped open the Beacon and I'm reading through, and I get to the screenshot of the week and I'm looking at it, and at first I think it's a bunch of dwarves in chicken cloaks, and I'm like, no, wait, those are chickens.
Let's then head into our store sales. Terry, what's on sale this week?
Let's see. The weekly coupon gets you a free Tome of Defense for 90 minutes with the coupon code DEFENDME now through March 18th, and also 25% off Virtue Acceleration Tomes, Trait Slots, Skill and Slayer Deboosts, and we still have LOTRO bonus days if you're listening to this live through tomorrow.
LOTRO Players News is brought to us by episode 400.
Yay!
Yay! We made it through.
Congrats.
Yes, episode 400. That is.
Finally, we've been here for all of them.
Yes, 400 episodes. Okay.
So I was thinking earlier, is this considered our birthday or our anniversary?
Well, it's not quite our anniversary. I think is a few more episodes down the road because there are 52 weeks in the year.
Right.
So the anniversary, I think, is still a couple of months off.
So what do we need to get everybody for the anniversary?
Well, geez, the
Yeah.
400th anniversary. What is that? I mean, that's like a gold pressed Latinium, right? I mean, that's really fancy stuff.
Well, but it's really only like 8 years,
Yeah.
which is still.
Oh, we have to do the dog years conversion. Right? So.
This week, Squirrel has posted in his Pet Peeve series, LOTRO Tweaks Part 1. And these are some tweaks that he is recommending to help make the game better.
Good luck with that.
Yes, I get that. For example, is that when you that being able to deconstruct armor and the like into crafting materials.
At
That
all
would be
levels.
nice.
And to have some tweaks to bags and some tweaks to gear. He talks about, for example, how level 100 seems to be one of the darkest zones of gear because that's where everything is essence based and there's absolutely nothing else. And by the time you get all the essences you need, you're probably 10 levels above the level you needed to be in order to.
Yep. Did that grind exactly once.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the subject, why not legendary armor?
Don't give them any ideas.
Oh God.
No.
No.
I'm sorry. I'll close
No.
Pandora's box again.
Thank you.
Too late. The only thing left is despair.
I was
Dan,
gonna say,
take part out.
is there even hope in the bottom?
So maybe this time it could actually like grow with you, and so like your weapon doesn't grow with you, but your armor grows with you, and so every time you level up, it just gets more powerful, and you don't have to do anything about it except keep getting XP, which would be pretty cool.
I like it.
Well, good
That
luck
would
on
be
that.
like an ideal LI system that you don't actually have to really do anything with, that it just happens on its own.
Right, like some customizability, like pick your legacies, pick your relics and stuff, but then just keep getting XP and playing the game, and your ally gets stronger. Like, I think that would be amazing.
And not grinding through useless dailies for stuff you can't use.
Exactly.
Yes.
Too bad they don't have an equipment system like ESO where any class can use just any item.
And once you
That is
reach
actually kind of really phenomenal.
once you reach the level cap, like the item, you never outlevel it. Like you might decide that something else is more useful to you and trade it out, but you're not going to
Right.
outlevel it, and you can pass it on to an alt. So
Finally, if I love that idea, I want to assemble an army of halberd wielding hobbits. Oh my goodness!
that would be so awesome. I want to be a halberd wielding hobbit in your army.
Maybe.
Ultimately, they're not even used for war. It's basically if somebody has an overgrown field. It's like when they deploy goats to eat all the grass. You just put all the hobbits in there. Throw some pies in there, and then they just cut down all the grass looking for the pies.
Lawnmower brigade.
No, it's like, okay, we have to clear this to find Farmer Maggot's mushrooms. You don't mess with those mushrooms, man. The burglar line actually is like, hey, they're trying to steal Farmer Maggot's mushrooms, and they're human. We can't allow that to happen. Only hobbits get to do that. Go kill them. And it's like, dude!
No, go send them back to their own res circle. Make them rethink their actions.
Of course, you actually picking up a few and tucking them in your pockets while you're there.
It's just payment for a job well done.
And the irony of that is that I was playing a human.
Stays in the field. Come on.
I was totally playing a human, and they're like, humans aren't allowed. And I'm like,
Hobbit Fight Club versus, or I say instead of Fight Club, it's like Hobbit Eating Club?
Well, that's, what, the problem with the Hobbit Eating Club is that every single Hobbit is a member currently. So it really kind of loses its specialness as a club, right? I mean...
But they never have to debate. They just eat.
It actually sounds pretty good.
Well, and you could have different factions, and instead of making it,
in an ale league.
Oh, the people that hold their forks with their hands pointed up, and people that hold their forks like they grab them and they point them down. You could have factions like that,
Yeah,
our favorite.
It was called the Butter Battle book.
Ooh.
The butter battle book, where on which way to
On which way to butter the bread? Butter side up or butter side down? Yeah.
Similar to the
don't
toilet
care.
paper, the toilet paper roll debate.
Well, I was thinking of perhaps from Gulliver's Travels when he's in visiting Lilliput, where they have a war over whether they have their eggs big Indian or little Indian, and this entire war over which way to eat your hard-boiled eggs. And of course, he has several other items that you could read in here, unless somebody here has any particular tweaks that they wish to talk about. I will take that as a no then. Then let us head out to our weekend gaming. And Arendis, what have you been up to?
Her mic is kind of acting up right now.
Oh.
She's trying to fix it. She says to skip her, and yeah, she's trying to fix it.
Then it's your turn, Calabathian.
Oh, crap! Forgot I was second. 'Twas a cold and snowy girls, wherein our burgs stabbed wargs and chased terrified badgers this past Sunday. Literally chased badgers that were like fleeing, like doing their little hopping run, like running away from, I think it was Sands.
Yeah, that was kind of my fault. I didn't stealth up before running up to them, and they just took off running away from me.
And we had to actually kill them, and because we had to, a quest for that. And so they were like fleeing, like, oh no! And, we were like, rawr, come here, little badger. Or stabby stab. So, yeah, that was amusing. I did not forget I was a lore master on the Academy this week. And I now have Grar the Bear, Boggy the Bog Guardian, and Corky the Raven. We still die horribly against Harbingers, though. That was...
Wait, we died against the Harbinger?
I think everybody except the... Oh, you died. Okay.
I died, but it wasn't against the Harbinger.
Yes.
I don't think it was against the Harbinger, but yeah, leading up to the Harbinger, I can't even remember. I died so many times in that instance. I can't... Yeah. I don't know who killed me. I just died repeatedly, okay? And then I ran back.
Yeah, I think the Harbinger is the only thing that didn't kill us.
And it was the first time in Storm that I have ever gotten to the end, and we killed the dragon, but we didn't. We lost the drummers, and so we only got half credit. And that was the first time that I've ever run that instance with at any point where that happened. Usually we clear both, and you get to loot the body, and then you get the chest. But the witch escapes, and so we just got the chest. I was like, really? I didn't know that. I'm almost to 69 on all of my legacy tiers for both of Celeborn's first stage weapons. I'm literally at like tier 60 for the last legacy of my, my second first stage weapon. So if I get 9 scrolls, level 69 scrolls tomorrow, then I should be done, and I can move on to wherever the next level scrolls are going to be and start my grinding there.
Good luck. Have fun.
Congratulations.
Well, it would be lovely if I even knew where to go to do that.
Isn't it the Three Kingdoms next? Or Mordor? Like, kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. But you have to finish all of the quests in both areas to unlock the dailies, so it'll take a little while.
Yeah, so maybe by the time I actually can unlock the dailies, and start my grind for more scrolls, by that point, I can actually take the Tortoise Stone off of Celeborn, because he's 115 right now. And my weapons will actually be leveled up and more caught up with what they, where they should be. Because once you get all of those, your tiers up to like level 69, tier 69, actually getting the XP to like fill in those bars and, get them better. It's like
I said, it would still be enough of a grind if they just made it that we had to keep earning the XP for it.
Yes.
There is so much XP to earn for that. And I know there's like XP tokens right now, but I would trade like all the scrolls required for those.
Yeah, the next level is 74, and that's Host of the West.
Host of the West. Okay.
Oh, so that's a little bit closer.
Yes, that's actually a little bit closer. I'm going to write that down, because I might actually be able to do that. I mean, someone's going to have to show me how to do that, but it's what?
That would be in, North Ithilien in the Wastes.
Yes.
Probably Herbalist dailies. Were there other dailies there?
Herbalist day. Oh, Lord. I'm going to be up to my eyeballs in
How
time.
OCD are you? Just pick everything that's a flower.
Is that a flower? Pick it.
Yeah, that's actually best done solo, because the flowers are a pain in the butt to do in a group. Yes. I know this because I was running with a group and I refused to do flowers because they require you to take like extra steps to make sure. Are you sure you want this flower? Yes, I want the flower. And yeah, so I
just picked it. Yes, I want it. What am I going to do? Glue it back?
Right. But no, it pops up that window. It pops up that window that tells you like what you're getting from the flower, and then you have to like right click on every single item there to have it give it to you. Because if you just click yes, I want it, it's like this window just stays there.
Are you sure you want it?
Pretty much. And so you have to like actually right click on every single item that the flower is giving you to take it, or you can just like escape out of the window and the next person can take the flower. And if they're not in a group, they don't have to click on anything. Unless it like marks it for you and then the other person can't get it, in which case that would be really sad. But
that would be a quality of life fix that they could do, a tweak per se. Fix that in that area.
Ithilien flowers, yeah. I was so aggravated doing that area.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably do some tweaks of some kind relating to that area when Honor gets it in April.
Oh, sure. That's
maybe
when
the
they
tweaks will even make it better this time instead of like their last tweaks for Honor.
Calabathian, if you do unlock the dailies in the Wastes, don't listen to Gandalf when he says it's safe to go to the back towards Minas Morgul and pick things, or at least be cautious. Although I think with Celeborn
there's level
might be okay.
The 120, is it? Mobs right there.
I think it's at least 120. I think that was what the max
like
was.
Or 125.
You're level 100, 105, and Gandalf is sending you to go to an area and try to dodge purple mobs to pick things or to burn.
Yeah,
when the quest was be careful. Got his quest lines, there were no purple mobs there, and it was safer. But yeah, with the opening of Minas Morgul, that is not an actually safe area, and they are definitely higher level than you.
They've got to fix that for next month, because you don't want all those people in Honor getting killed.
Oh, we would never want that. What about the rest of the worlds? But hey, people on Honor. You know what? I played Civ 6 with Terry and Pine because my computer's terrible. And if I see one more barbarian camp named Sand Snakes, I'm going to be upset. They are apparently going to haunt me for the rest of my natural life. Every time I get on the game, there's going to be Sand Snakes. And I'm going to be like, no. Copyright infringement. So, Krister, how about you?
Well, I was going to say, despite your obvious intense hatred of sand snakes, I really think that Sand Swinda snakes would be a really cool character name. Okay, Sans Winda Snakes. Come on, Sans.
Maybe.
That sounds like a rogue right there to me. So
There's your new ESO Nightblade.
Yes.
So in LOTRO, my kin has basically been running Runner Chant over and 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 over. So we are running it over and over again. I can't even really have an opinion about it anymore. We just do it. It's just a mechanical function. No, we're trying. We're striving to get everybody geared up with set pieces, and we are slowly but surely getting there. And then I'm playing a couple other games as well. One of them I'm playing is this game called Starship Evo, and it's a voxel-based building game like Minecraft. However, it was what I always wanted Minecraft to update to, which is to be able to build big giant ships and fly them around. And so I figured I'd post a picture in our Discord of one of my projects. There we go. And so I've been working on building working tanks in the game, and these are two of the tanks I built. What's kind of cool about the
pew pew pew?
Yeah, the picture thing is you can actually fire them, and but anyways, that game is a lot of fun, and it's almost like meditating. That's what I call Minecraft to me. Is meditation. It's just kind of my zen. I can just build in that game and blank out and focus only on that. Another one I got, a new game I'm checking out, is called this Dyson Sphere Project, because I'm a space dork and I like science fiction, and the Dyson Sphere certainly is an impressive science fiction thing. Building a shell around a star to absorb all of its energy. It's a very complicated game, and basically I have accomplished in about 40 or 50 hours of gameplay the equivalent of almost building fire with my cavemen. So I've got a very, very long way to go before I get a Dyson Sphere built. But that means that there's hours and hours of gameplay, which is really awesome.
You need to look for a bone and a black plinth.
The monolith. You're right. I need to have my monolith moment. And what about you?
Well, on Girls of Middle Earth, I too went to Forkel, and the Bricks took out vengeance on Moose in Forkel. I was really not trying to pick a fight, and Moose decided to attack me, even though I wasn't one of the original girls to get attacked. So vengeance was had upon him, and a few of his other friends wandering around nearby because, why not? In ESO, the Shiny Duo, as I've dubbed them, are now CP-145 and have just started questing in Alakir, which is a gorgeous region, and I'm looking forward to it. Although, first time out, we're not even very far out of the sands, really close by to Sentinel, and I don't remember this ever happening on my Nightblade when I was sneaking around trying to get materials and stuff, but got attacked by a couple of Dune Rippers. Those were startling because we didn't see them on the surface, and all of a sudden, there they were! Hi! Welcome to Sentinel. Also, dolmen runs are fun. The guild that I'm sort of involved with, we're having dolmen runs one night, and just went bouncing between 3 different way shrines in Deshaun, trying to pick up gear for a couple of the different classes there. That was a lot of fun. Sans Window, what did you get up to?
Well, I also went to Fork Hill with the Bergs on Sunday, and it was fun. And then I went wolf hunting and harbinger hunting with the field trip on a Guardian, and I was so proud of myself. Okay, so there's this wolf den outside of Bree, kind of to the north before you get to Trestle Bridge, and I rode through there and I collected all the wolves. I was so proud to bring them back to my fellowship because I was guardianing and I had all of them mad at me, and I came streaming back out of there, all of the red dots behind me, and this level 42 warden shouted at them and they all peeled off and died, and I was really sad. But I had a moment where I had all the wolves mad at me. And yeah, it was a rather anticlimactic end. The warden probably thought he was saving the poor level 18 guardian who was running from all the wolves. But I was not actually running away from them. I was taking them to my party. So, oops. But yeah, I'm hopeful that there will be many more opportunities to have good pulls like that. And then went Harbinger hunting, and the rest of the skirmish was much more difficult than the Harbinger. We even had 6 people, and we were all on level. It helped once our Runekeeper became a healer, so yeah, thank you, Runekeeper. But we had 2 guardians, so we didn't have a lot of DPS going for us in our 6 people. And, yeah, it was interesting. But we finished it, even though the numbers died. Saradan did not die, so it was pretty good. I think everybody else died at least once. Many of us several times.
Including Amlan.
Yes.
He died at one gate, and then when we get to the other gate, ready to go in, he's alive again. It's like, he even died at one point.
He doesn't get
He
killed.
needed a nap.
He just gets knocked out.
Oh.
Yeah. Or plays dead. I'm not sure which. But, yeah, that was pretty fun.
Wait, Amlin has a bird flop? Because he's not a hobbit.
I mean, it looks more like he just, like, flops over knocked out. Somebody's probably knocked out.
Yeah, he's just knocked out.
I might not get knocked out too if this like really huge frickin' tree just whacked me in the head with one of its branches. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's totally fair. I was pretty proud though, as a guardian, that I only died, I think, twice in that run, and I didn't die while there was a healer up. So the healing was top notch when it started. And I've been trying being Hammurabi in Civ 6 this week in 2 different games, and being on a team results in really fast tech tree progression for Hammurabi, because any time you get a Eureka for a tech, you automatically get the tech. And so, being on a team, anytime somebody else gets the tech, it triggers a Eureka for everyone else. So I was in the medieval era, I think, last night in like an hour and a half of gameplay, which was pretty cool. I couldn't build everything yet though, because I was still getting my production up and going and dealing with barbarians and other troubles, but
I was hoping you were going to say you were going to march a giant death robot over to the Sand Snakes camp.
You know, that would have been a lot of fun. I wasn't quite to the giant death robot yet, though.
Yeah, that was the one game that we didn't have sand snakes, actually.
Well, that's because I wasn't there.
That's true.
What was it, the gray rats or something that decided to pop up next to me and try to take me out? Like, they hadn't been anywhere close to me. I had been doing just fine with the barbarians near me because they were going to turn into city-states because of the new update. And I was doing a really good job being peaceful and kind of minding my own business and tending my city centers. And then Grey Rat shows up and like starts attacking immediately. And I was like, what? Go away. So yeah, I've got to finish taking them out if we play that again ever. And I've been playing Stardew Valley and Dragon Quest Builders 2 on my nephew's recommendation and occasionally with him, which has been fun. Though occasionally I want to do things my way. He is very opinionated that I should do it exactly the way that he did it the first time he did it. So I've tried a few things that I would not have tried otherwise, and it's been interesting. But it's also fun to play with him and build some rapport that way. So, Terry, how was your week?
Well, LOTRO missions. Yeah, I'm running missions the way Krister's running Rummercant, so it's probably about as exciting. But I forgot to turn in the wrapper for assisting the war effort.
Oh.
Before because I usually start the week, start on Thursday, but I talked to the two guys for the Gundabad war effort thing for the missions, and then I talked to the other guys for the actual missions, and then I wrap up the week by turning all of that stuff in, and I forgot to talk to the other two guys before Thursday rolled around. So, it's only 30 Gundabad copper coins, which, I can spare a week of not getting 30 Gundabad copper coins because it's not like I have a shortage of them because I have nothing to buy with them because you can't actually get decent useful gear for champions with the war marks. I've looked at the gear. The gear is really great if you play a tanky class. If you're playing a heavy DPS, forget it. You need embers, and you're looking at like 6 weeks per piece of gear for embers if you're just running missions. So I did pick up a new piece of jewelry, I think it was, which is great because every time I upgrade my gear, I can kill stuff that little tiny bit faster, which means I get through missions a little tiny bit faster, unless it's a mission that requires me to click on things, and then it takes forever. Because I kill everything, and then I go back and I click on the things. That's when I really need just a second pair of hands to be going behind me and clicking things while I'm taking the 2 minutes to slaughter everything in the instance. Yeah, so oops. But I also did a round of alt logins because I started getting mail back from alts that I had sent mail to. And it's like, I should probably not, resend this and then actually log into the alt and get it. Yeah, so that happened. So my login screen currently is a mess because usually it's like 5 champions and a burglar. But I actually have the bear on the login screen because that was one of the last logins I did because he's my housing storage spare bear. The Bjorning that I don't play anymore. I played some more Civ 6 and discovered that changing up the timers is possibly not the best idea. So it turns out that there's an option in Civ 6 where you can normally we play without the turn timers, but some people have a tendency to take 5 years to take their turns, and it drives me slightly crazy because I can take my turn in about 30 seconds. And actually, even when I have a lot of units to be moving, I don't have nearly as much problems with the timers as some other people have. Pineleaf. So true fact, if you ever want to really stress out Pineleaf and you happen to be playing a game with him, set a timer. Doesn't matter what the timer is for. The fact that there is a timer will stress him out so badly that he's just completely off his game.
The irony of this is unbelievable.
I know, right? But it's true because he was like the most stressed I have ever heard him last night.
Finally, why aren't you attacking your own cities? I don't know. How much time do I have left?
I suspect he didn't even actually know how much time he had left at the end when he had like 3 minutes and was like, I don't have time to
He's
think
like,
about
I don't
this.
have time. I'm like, finally, if you've got 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, it's really okay.
How does
Harry,
it feel?
that would have been the perfect.
How does it feel, Pineleaf? How does it feel? 30 seconds!
That would have been the perfect time for Jeopardy music right there. Just to really turn the screws. Just have that playing,
No,
you literally
poor
feel the
Pineleaf.
sweat pouring off Pineleaf at that point.
Have the
Got to
Pineleaf
make a
countdown
decision.
start.
It was actually kind of funny, though, because we ended up, Russia was one of the AI opponents, and Russia ended up just south of where Pineleaf was playing Vietnam. And despite the fact that Russia had space to expand to the west, Russia decided to expand to the north. And I actually had it on my screen because I had finished my turn and I had, extra time, so I was watching. I watched on my screen as the little Russian settler wound his way up the river to right outside of Pine Leaf's borders and wrapped a city right there. And Pine Leaf was like, oh, hell no! I mean, obviously in more PG terms, because that's not language that Pine Leaf uses. But it was more or less the equivalent. I mean, there was like real frustration at the city being dropped right there. And needless to say, several turns later, Russia ceased to exist. Vietnam wiped them off the map. I feel very proud that I was able to provide Pine Leaf with a good model for how we wipe other civilizations off the map. Russian, like the first game that I ever played with Pine Leaf, we ended up being in fairly close proximity, and we teamed up to take out Australia. And he conquered one city, and I took like 6. And he learned his lesson from that, and discovered that if you surround the city with forces and basically just bomb the crap out of them for an entire turn, the city goes away. Which is more or less how the Roman war machine works. So yeah, that was extremely entertaining.
I know. It was real interesting there that I even, just in case they started building walls, I even had a battering ram ready and moving down in their direction. It never needed to be used.
No, because he never got around the walls.
Yes.
Peter was slacking, and Russia went bye-bye. In ESO, my main Terry Adwin did enough questing in Cold Harbor to be thoroughly disgusted with questing in Cold Harbor. And I haven't even made it through like the first little quest chain.
To be fair, it doesn't take very long of being in Cold Harbor to be thoroughly disgusted with being there.
It's definitely not a zone that I enjoy questing in at all. But she met the Lamias, the snake people. I fully expect them to attempt to stab me in the back later, because that is what the game has taught me, is that people that the game works really hard to try and get you to like NPCs that are slightly strange so that they can then stab you in the back later. I learned that lesson with the vampires, and it took hold, and so I don't trust the snake people as far as I can probably throw them, which, to be fair, isn't very far, so it's a good thing I don't trust them. And the new update launched, so I thought maybe they had updated the tutorial, because I didn't know. So I made a new Templar and went through the tutorial, which is not a new tutorial, but it's the tutorial that I skipped when I made my shiny new Nightblade. In which, speaking of vampires, I got to meet Fenorian in the tutorial, and I actually kind of really like him. Like the new Nightblade that didn't meet him in the tutorial is super suspicious of the guy, but having met him in the tutorial, I actually kind of like him.
For whatever reason, he has become some sort of cult thirst object for ESO fans.
Oh,
they had a whole thing.
There's no mystery there whatsoever. It's kind of funny because, you know, I always snark back to NPCs when I'm playing the game, and so he said something, and I was like, "You first, pretty boy." Yeah. So I think my headcanon is that they have that kind of dynamic. Like, she's the Templar, and by the way, I treated myself to the Any Race, Any Alliance bundle in ESO, and I made the tiniest ever Breton Templar in the Aldmeri Dominion. So it's normally there are no like human characters in the Aldmeri Dominion, because all of the races that you can play for the actual alliance are non-human races. They're elves and the Khajiit. But I decided I wanted to be a human, and I am like the tiniest. Like, I pulled the slider all the way to really short. And she's running around with a great sword that's about as big as she is. So it's really entertaining to watch her run into combat and swing it a couple of times and then shoot light out of her fingertips and stuff dies. It's being a lot of fun so far. But yeah. And then also what came out this week was from the same people who made House Flipper. I talked a few weeks ago about how I got House Flipper and was super addicted to it for like 5 minutes. They have a free trial of a new game that they're going to be coming out with called The Tenants, which is instead of flipping houses, you get to be your version of a landlord, which may or may not necessarily, I mean, you don't have to be the classiest landlord ever. Kind of the tutorial is, what the free trial is teaching me is that you really don't want to be the classiest landlord ever. But I had a little bit of fun. I mean, it still has some kinks, but I had a little bit of fun with it. I haven't gotten around. Well, I did rent my first place, and my first tenant probably had a problem. So yeah, basically, it's all the problems of being a landlord. So yeah, Pineleaf, how was your week?
For my week, I'll begin with my low-level Crick Hollow Warden, who was questing in the Misties, and I reached level 42. And this character, I am trying to get up to 45, so I could be questing in the new region when that comes out. So at least now, I have at least reached a level where it would be feasible to start questing there if I don't have more time to it. But I am hoping to get to 45 by the time the release does come out. And on my honor warden, I was helping the children in Minas Tirith cope with these dark times as all sorts of nasty things happen. I can never understand it how I lead Burgle and his friends through the cisterns, and they said, oh, this would be a great way to get to level 4. And during the journey there, we were running into goblins, and I just can't understand how they thought that this was going to be a great route when I had to kill goblins along the way.
Kids are sneaky?
I don't know, but
because you killed all the goblins. Now there's no goblins. It's
well, unfortunately, later on it proved that the goblins were that some more goblins had made a breach into the cisterns and were sneaking in and were causing trouble to one of the kids. So yes, those goblins were still a problem. Yeah, I killed the goblins that we ran across, but yeah, of course. You know how it is with goblins. You kill 2 and 4 more pop up in their place.
I hope not, because I have a cat and he's a goblin. I don't think I can handle another 4 like him.
Yes.
All I can think is of some strange Middle Earth version of Hydra.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's like, yes. The Hydra goblins. That is. And when you consider that they were in cisterns, the word Hydra probably isn't too far off.
The Hydra goblins. I'm waiting for that barbarian encampment in Civ 6 next.
And speaking of Civ 6, Terry Edwin already talked about my little battle against Russia as I tried to apply all the lessons that I learned from her on how to deal with someone who first pops a city right next to yours and then complains and denounces you because your settlements are too close. That's my capital! I've been there for the entire game! And after this little battle, I hit medieval level, which meant that it was time for me to deploy the elephants. And I had these barbarians who decided to harass me. And I demonstrated to the barbarians that you never harass someone who has crossbows mounted on elephants.
They fell victim to one of the classic blunders, the most famous of which is never get involved in a land war in Asia.
Yes, that is exactly what they had happen on there. So I cleared out those barbarians fairly quickly, and it turns out that those Elephants move at quite a pace when I need to get them across the map in order to handle some nasty barbarians. So I think I've cleared them out for a little while, though I'm sure the barbarians, as is their wont, will pop in on occasion more. So I have to treat them to a few more lessons.
The elephant hustle.
The elephant hustle. Send in the elephantry. Our top supporter this month is LOTRObuilds.com. It's a collection full of LOTRO databases, including an items database, relics database, and titles database. Also, you can use it right from Discord with a LOTRO build bot. We currently have 16 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for our podcast hosting, our website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send one, you can send it to podcast@LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. Players Alliance @Players Alliance, LOTRO Players @LOTRO Arendis @Arendis, Pineyf @Pineyf Needles, Senswinda @Senswinda, Terry Edwin @Terry Edwin, Guarendis @Guarendis, and Calabathian @Calabathian. And Krister, what is yours?
You will
How do
never
you
find
spell
me.
that?
I'm basically,
Mwahaha?
I basically am just created out of the Internet of Things. I'm effectively 35 fridges, 7 toasters, and an ice machine. I don't have any effective way to contact me, so I apologize.
The Players Alliance has 2 live shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And please remember that tomorrow the United States is moving their clocks forward an hour, which means that
Ooh.
if you live elsewhere, it is possible that we will be at a different time than you're currently used to.
Burn the time, burn the clocks, just forget about it.
You can stream us for our shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Piney Duels reminding you to skirmish responsibly.